Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Music Den. I'm your host, Armando Venditti. Hoping you guys are having a good day. And above all else, that you're looking after yourselves and one another. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you to the fifth and final segment of Have You Heard Of? And the band I'm going to be talking about in the final segment of this run of segments, a run of episodes, is a band that I didn't even know existed till about a year ago. And you know what? This was the first album I heard of and from this band. And when I decided to do these segments of Have You Heard of, this band was definitely on my list to choose from. And this is a fantastic piece. The band is called Gryphon, and the album we're going to be talking about is their sophomore release, Red Queen to Gryphon 3. Now, for those of you out there who don't know, Gryphon are a UK progressive rock band. For this release, they were signed to Transatlantic Records uh, in the UK and Bell Records in North America. The album came out in 1974, and Gryphon are still releasing albums to this date. Their most recent release is a live album released in 2024 called Gryphon Live, A Sonic Tonic. So they're still out there. You can get these albums on Amazon and Discogs and eBay for those of you who are interested. Now, out of all the albums I've talked about in this series, this album for me, I've listened to it about 5 times already. And this album has to be one of the most unique albums in the pack. And I'll get into that. Now, for this release, there are 7 players in the band. You have Peter Redding on acoustic bass, Philip Nestor on bass guitar. There are 2 bass players. David Oberle on drums, percussion, and timpani. And as I look at my list here, Richard Harvey on keyboards, recorder, and crumhorn. Ernest Hart on organ. Brian Gulland on bassoon. And Graham Taylor on guitar. Now, listening again to this album, um, it's very unique, very original in its approach and its instrumentation, even from the artwork that I just showed you. Uh, it has a very sort of mystical feeling about it. As you saw from the artwork, it harkens back to the time of magicians and wizards and knights and ladies in waiting, etc. Merlin, the wizard Merlin, that kind of imagery. And it is simply fantastic. The album is, I call them movements. It's separated into 4 movements, 2 per side. And as you saw again from the artwork, basically, I'm taking this album as using the game of chess as a metaphor for life. Okay. Now, again, there are 4 movements. Each track is pretty lengthy in terms of composition. The shortest track is 8 minutes and 22 seconds, and the longest track is 10 minutes and 14 seconds. So very grand, very epic. So I'll get into it with you. The opening track is a piece called Opening Move, clocking in at 9 minutes and 47 seconds. In my notes, I have your grand intro, a nice use of guitars and synths intertwined with one another, basically interwoven, sweeping piano chords, dramatic cymbal crashes, nice use of bassoon. There's a lot of bassoon all over this album. And for me, I've never heard of a band using bassoon as a main instrument for recording before, ever. I've heard it now and again, um, just used very sparingly, you know, throughout certain recordings, but never as a main instrument. Also, in my notes, I have here for opening move, nice use of fuzz guitar, great use of timpani. There's a lot of timpanis in this album. Um, the arrangement is of a medieval kind of vibe feel to it. A good use of acoustic guitars, nice build of a wall of sound in terms of textures, in terms of keyboards, organs, uh, a bassoon. They're all interwoven together to make a nice textured wall of sound. And the as with all the pieces on this album. The ending builds in speed and intensity, and there's a lot of textures of organs and bassoon on the end of the track, which you'll find as a common theme throughout each piece. And towards the end, the last 6 or 5 minutes, the intensity and the speed of the composition will build up and intensify, sorry. Um, Section two, or I should say movement two, is a piece called Second Spasm, clocking in 8 minutes and 22 seconds, the shortest piece on the album. In my notes, I have your up-tempo piece, nice use of what I hear is a tin whistle. It must be probably a recorder that they're using. I know they use recorder on the album, as I just said, but to me, it sounds like a tin whistle. A nice combination of tin whistle and bassoon, heavy bass presence on this track. And they have good use of quick time signature changes, uh, good use of organ, panning effects from the left and right channel, good acoustic guitar, sweeping great sections, just very grand, very epic, almost like they're on the battlefield fighting to the death, that kind of feel. And on the end of the section, there's almost what I call a breakneck flute section, right? The track speeds up to its conclusion, and you basically, who was ever doing the woodwind instruments or flutes, they're going nuts on the flute, right? Just brilliantly done. Side two starts off with a track called Lament, and it is the longest piece on the album, clocking in at 10 minutes and 14 seconds. Okay. But to me, the time on this album flies. It's only like 38 minutes plus. Uh, it's a fantastic album overall. So, Lament, in my notes, I have here nice acoustic guitar and bassoon intro, very intricate melody and counter melodies that go on. There are three sections to this piece. The first section starts the first section fades at 2 minutes and 50 seconds. It just slowly fades out. Second section starts with a bassoon and guitar section, again, interwoven. Pretty much the bassoon and the guitar do the same melody line together, right? It's a twinning of the melody line on bassoon and guitar. The drums come in at this point, very relaxed feel on the drums. Not fast tempo, but very relaxed mid-tempo kind of pace. The third section comes in and nice use of and cymbals and bass drum on this piece. Um, Fast-paced, intricate section, mid-tempo pace that follows. Great acoustic guitar, nice prominent synths on this section. And I have at the end here great piano and acoustic guitar on fade out that are again interwoven with one another. Very intricate pieces, okay, that you can't really separate the instruments. They're all interwoven together. So if you remove, say, an acoustic guitar section from a certain line, it kind of compromises the piece. All the instrumentation on this album is thought out very methodically and done precisely and beautifully. So, okay. The last section on this album, or the fourth movement as I call it, is a piece called Checkmate, and it clocks in at 9 minutes and 47 seconds. Okay. Beautiful piece. And in my notes I have here, nice use of bass and piano interwoven again on the intro. A lot of cymbal crashes and that come in, intricate guitar, intricate bassoon passages that come in. There's a repetitive marching drum pattern that comes in that works beautifully with the piece. Dramatic strumming chords on acoustic guitar. Nice pairing of piano and bassoon on this piece. Very intricate passage. Beautifully done. Nice piano chords that come in. Again, very medieval in theme. Uh, they have also what I call very shimmering synths that come in. Towards the end, I have in my notes here dramatic chords that come in, cross-hand synth playing, as in like the Lamb Lies Down on Broadway that Tony Banks does on the intro on the keyboards for the title track. Um, Melodic themes repeating over and over again, culminating in a grand finish. Okay. Um, and that's the album. There are no vocals at all. You do not need vocals for this album, for Red Queen to Gryphon 3. It is not necessary. If you were to put vocals on these tracks, you would in essence take away what is already there. Okay, you would pretty much deaden what is going on musically, right? And for me, every track segues beautifully into one another, and 38 minutes go by really quickly. Okay, it's very intricate, ornate, very grand, very epic in scale, and very epic in presentation and performance. The only other band I could compare Gryphon to would be um, Jethro Tull because of the medieval folk themes. Only for this release, Gryphon take it to the next level. Okay. Um, I'm not gonna say that they're better than Jethro Tull because, in all honesty, this is the only album I've heard of Gryphon. So I'm not gonna say that. But for me, this album, all four pieces are just simply beautifully done. Fantastic. Okay. So please check it out if you don't know of Gryphon or if you haven't heard of them, or if you have heard of this album, please let me know in the comments down there, down below, what you think of this album and what you think of Gryphon as a band overall. And that brings to the end of the series of Have You Heard Of? Again, I just wanted to um, focus on other progressive rock bands that maybe you've heard a little bit about, or maybe you haven't heard of at all. Because when you talk about progressive rock bands, you think of groups like, again, yes, Jethro Tull, ELP, Rush, and there are a bunch of names I'm probably forgetting right now, but that I've mentioned before. But there are other bands, like I mentioned throughout these 5 episodes, that do deserve and need to be talked about as well. You know, um, in terms of the albums I've listened to, um, I do believe that this Red Queen to Gryphon 3 has to be the one of the best albums I've heard in terms of new bands I've discovered that that didn't know existed or I haven't really heard of before. This album, in terms of its presentation and instrumentation and overall arrangements and stuff, has to be one of the best or the best album of this genre that I've heard so far. And that says a lot. Now, you can get this album on Amazon. You can get it on Discogs. You can get it on eBay. You can even stream it on YouTube. Okay. Again, only four pieces of music. Um, and 38 minutes go by very quickly when you hear this album. It's simply fantastic. Each instrument complements one another very beautifully. Not one instrument overrides the other or overpowers the other instrument. Everything is done methodically and purposely and just beautifully done, beautifully executed. So please check out Gryphon, Red Queen to Gryphon 3. If you do want to get it on Amazon, I think it's going for something like 38 to 48 bucks. It's quite pricey for a single disc. But you can check it out again on Discogs, get it there. You can get it on eBay. And again, let me know what you think of this album, Red Queen to Gryphon 3. All right, that's it for now. I will be coming back with more episodes with Jim Bricker and Ken Cheshire and Bill Schuster. We're going to be doing a Genesis album a discussion on The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. That's coming up very soon and more episodes to come. All right. Please look after yourselves and one another. And please click like and subscribe and hit the notification bell to keep yourselves on top of any new content I've got coming up. All right. So please, again, have a fantastic day, and we'll see you soon with more videos. Bye for now.